want to grow as a grower? Are you tired of being put to sleep by your educational growcasts? Are you tired of hearing about products you don't fucking want and can't afford? Are you tired of being told how you should grow? Hi, I'm Johnny Apple, and joining me is everyone's favorite amphibian, the Reverend Pirate Frog. Join us as we sift through the bullshit on the internet and try to get better as growers. This is Your Average Grow.
Hey, dude.
Hey, man, what's up?
I'm very excited to have our guest, Emily from Moonstone Plants, on to have a great in-depth conversation about plants. However, I brought in backup. So I brought in Howling because he's intellectual enough to have questions. And I brought in Matt Murch so that he could translate for us because they're both from the same state, Maine of all places. But welcome, guys.
Hi.
Hey.
Hey guys.
What's happening, guys? Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
I'm honored that you're joining this horrible band of people, but we appreciate it. So I wanted to say right off the bat, you have an amazing Instagram.
Oh, thank you.
If you want to plug that before we start, and we'll get it after too.
Yeah, my @'s just Moonstone Plants, just one word.
It's perfect, and it's like it's a better jungle in those pictures than I think I've seen anywhere.
Oh, thank you.
It's really impressive. So before we have Johnny go in depth with the subject of the podcast, but what got you started with houseplants?
Well, yeah.
Sorry. Howling had an opening question. Yeah. Was your first houseplant given to you at a funeral?
No.
Okay, that settles a bet. Howling, you owe me a 20.
Is that a common thing?
Some of my first houseplants were given to me as gifts at funerals.
Aww. That's how 72% of all Instagram pages come. That's how they come from, you know.
That's not real.
No, of course.
No, that's not real.
but sorry, I interrupted you as you were answering my own question. I feel like a dick already. But yeah, what got you started with houseplants?
Well, so I spent a lot of time with my nanny. Well, so not like a nanny, but my grandma.
Yeah.
So yeah, she had a really big garden, and I would spend like every day there in the summer. And so just from a young age, I was always really interested in them. And then I moved out of my parents' house in 2019, and like as soon as I got my own space, I just pretty much started filling it up.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It keeps growing, I'm sure. I'm sure it was one plant, and then you're like, oh man, what happened?
Yeah, they're definitely addictive.
Do you find more joy in like caring for each individual one specifically? Is that it? Or is just like a mass approach kind of what you like doing? That was a really shitty question. Sorry, I'm stoned.
I think that's interesting. I mean, I guess kind of both, because like I'm always like wanting more, but then like I definitely pick favorites too. So like some of them I kind of like smother, and then other ones I just ignore. And I mean, I've had so many die on me, but I mean that's just part of the process.
Exactly.
I can't even imagine, because I have 4 different strains of cannabis I'm growing, and that's overwhelming as it is, just to try to understand those 4 different ones. And there's, like, I saw your Instagram, and I've seen others where they have 50, 60 plants, and they're all different, and they all have their personalities. I envy you all for being able to keep it straight, to have a connection with each of those. Yeah, I don't know how you do it.
Well, once you start getting like a couple, you'll start realizing like the care is really similar, and it'll be just like a few things that you'll have to learn, like, you know, say between a philodendron and a monstera. But like in general, you know, they'll take the same soil, They'll take the same light. So really, once you got the routine down with one, you can get them all.
Really? So
Yeah.
like that's the one thing, like I said it earlier, like houseplants are freaking scary. And I have a few of them and I'm terrible at it because I think like every plant is this unique individual because it's different. It looks different, grows different. I don't have, well, I take that back. I do have two pothos plants. But um I get really scared about all the different variations, and my
Mhm.
wife has a few that they're. I treat them all like as individuals, and I don't think that there's like some common theme between them. For like cannabis, it's pretty. We it likes a certain type of soil, it likes a certain pH, and it
Mhm.
doesn't matter if it's indica or sativa or anything. They all kind of like the same thing. But
Mhm.
houseplants, it's like there's millions of different ones. I have no idea, and I didn't know that there was that much in common between them. Like I was overcomplicating it as I usually do.
What a
Yeah.
surprise.
I was kind
Hmm.
of the opposite. Like my cannabis plants are the ones that overwhelm me when I have like maybe 10 total at the most at a time.
Yeah, I can feel that sometimes when it's they all kind of pile up in the same time of things you have to
Yeah.
do and you're like, God damn it.
I'm so bad at just like timing the whole process. And that's like something you don't have to worry about with houseplants is like you just let them go, and when they're ready for a new pot, you change the pot and they just keep going. But with weed, it's like, oh my gosh, I have to be on top of this because it's like week 4 and now I'm gonna like change it into flowering, you know?
Oh yeah, everything you're way more on top of it, and also you pay more
Mhm.
attention because of the time frame and the
Right.
end result. Where I can guess with a houseplant, there is, no matter how much you love it, a still little bit of, well, if it dies, I mean,
Right, and like even if it dies back, it's not like with cannabis where you're like, oh shit, now I have to wait for it to. Sorry to swear.
oh yeah,
Um,
fuck. Oh come
Oh,
on,
don't
are you
fucking do that
fucking
here.
serious? We have gotten on one
It's a
occasion.
weed growing
I know.
podcast. We
On
can
one
drop the F
occasion,
bomb if you
on
want.
one occasion, our Discord roasted Johnny so fucking much for
Fuck, fuck,
swearing
fuck, fuck, fuck.
every other fucking word
I mean, it
that.
was a lot.
It was not.
In their defense,
Okay, but
305 times.
that is pretty bad. What I find hilarious though is that quite literally a Navy sailor is telling Johnny that he swears too much.
I never said that. I said, it's a lot.
I, I just, to me, that just is like the perfect. Yeah. So don't worry about swearing. Like I said, I don't think we take ourselves that serious.
That's funny.
But
Outswearing the sailor.
yeah,
You got to
I can
cut. I
outswim
cut
him
it
too.
back. I'm a little bit
Merch,
less than I used to be.
Merch doesn't want.
I'm sober swearing now.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
working on it.
He's in the program, the 2-step program. Don't swear.
I got a question about houseplants though.
Feel
Yeah.
free.
Is there
Well,
besides
that's
like
what the fuck we were talking
Oh,
about.
besides like not harvesting them, obviously it's different than cannabis, but is the watering the same? And like do you have to do something different for all of them based on like their needs? And then also do you have, I guess a double question, do you have pests that sort of target specific plants in general that you notice?
Oh yes. Okay, my memory is so bad, so you'll have to remind me about the first part again after. But for pests, yes, I don't know why aphids are like drawn to me for some reason. Um, like I'll look over a plant as soon as I get it, and I really try to like give them a good wash before. I like to use what's it called? Lost Coast Plant Therapy, and like I'll give it a good soaking with that. But for some reason, like I'll still just find some. And I feel like I've tried every single method. Um, diatomaceous earth. I've even tried systemic for my houseplants, and that's like the only thing that seems to get aphids under control for me. But I mean, spider mites, I get those from time to time, but those are way easier to get rid of in my experience. Pretty much you just blast it with the hose, and they're so tiny they'll just get knocked off. But those are really the only two Oh, and mealybugs sometimes on like succulents, but they they mostly like the thicker leaves. So like with more of the tropical plants, you don't have to worry about those.
Oh, that's cool. I was just wondering, like, since you're not going to consume it, did you maybe do something different since you're not going to be
Mm-hmm.
ingesting a lot of them, or do you actually? I don't know. Maybe you do. Do you use a lot of them for, like, I don't know, remedies and herbal supplements and things like that?
I've wanted to, like, I do want to start a little medicinal garden. And like I have trichocereus, which are the what's it called? The psychedelic cacti, the mescaline, I think they are. Oops. But then, yeah, so for those ones, I don't like to use systemic insecticides, but the stuff that I'm like not gonna be eating at all or whatever, I'll use systemic insecticide, which is just like, I guess they take those up when you water it, they take it up and instead of coating the outside of the leaf, like it'll actually become a part of the plant itself. If that
Oh
makes
yeah, there's that one that does it with rosemary, right?
Oh, I haven't heard of that.
Oh man, Johnny, do you remember which one it is?
I have no clue.
Good. This is excellent.
We got this.
We got this. No, I'll figure it out in due time. But yeah, that's excellent. That's really cool.
Thanks.
I think
I
that was the
think
first part of the question. Was he was asking?
Yeah.
You have to water them differently.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I mean, obviously my cacti, I don't water a lot, and I honestly love that. I love having some that I can just ignore, and I know they'll be okay, because some are so dramatic. Like you overwater it one time and it turns to mush, and that makes me want to cry.
I think that's
But
how I get rid of every house plant. Is I forget to water it and then I go, oh shit, and then I start watering it and I leave it in a tray and then
Mhm.
it gets super wet and then it dies and I'm like, every time you gotta stop.
Yeah, well, what
Like, what's
happens
that brown
is
thing in the corner over there? Like, oh yeah, that's the fern that I forgot about.
Yeah, for sure.
Not
ferns
in my
are
house.
hard.
That brown thing in the corner is a whole different thing in my house. I got dogs.
Oh my god.
That's true. You have we all have dogs here, right? Nope.
No, I don't.
That's right.
Oh.
But
Yeah.
Merch is too doesn't want to share his food.
I'm too greedy, man. I want all of that stuff for myself. I mean, you watch those dog commercials, you see how good that food is. If you think I'm sharing that, no way, dude.
That's hilarious. That's funny.
So I mean, speaking of pets, I do have a question. Like, I have to lock. I have peace lilies, and
Mm.
those are supposed to be toxic to cats, and I have
Mm.
3 cats, so they're locked away in my office, and you never see them, or I'm the only one that ever sees them. I saw that you have cats and you have a ton of plants. So how
Mm.
do you bring those two worlds together without killing one of them?
Yeah, so that's kind of something that I feel like when you're first getting plants, you should start off slowly and kind of see how your cats react to them. Cause like my cats, I have 3 of them, so they're all kind of different. But one of them just likes to swat the leaves. She doesn't like to bite them or anything. And then the other two, for the most part, just leave them alone. And so I don't really have to worry about like getting just pet safe plants. Because like as long as they're not biting the leaves, and especially in big amounts, I feel like that's something that people kind of overlook. And like obviously I want to keep cats safe and everything, but I feel like people on the internet can go a little bit like overboard with saying, oh, like this plant is toxic, but like most of the time it's only when it's in large amounts, like they're eating either the entire plant or the entire leaf.
You've consumed double your body weight in plant. Of course that's going to happen.
Yeah. It's like you would think cats would have the natural instinct to like, ew, this doesn't taste right, like,
Yeah.
but they
Cats are dumb. No, they don't.
Not as dumb as dogs, though. Dogs will be like,
Yeah.
I'm dying. I'm going to eat more. At least I'm
Yeah.
going out eating this poison. Um,
Yeah,
No,
my dog gets into them more than my cats.
oh, I bet my dog constantly is eating like things that I'm just like, why? You know that wasn't good yesterday.
That poop just came out of you. Why do you think it's still good?
I want to get a dog though, guys. I keep thinking about it.
You
Yeah,
should.
you should.
Yeah, you should get a black lab.
Nah, get a German Shepherd Corgi. Name him Captain America 2.
That sounds like a good plan.
Yeah. He's not going to keep up very well, but he's cute.
Puppies are just so much work, you know, but I love them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I
but they're
love
only
them.
puppies for a short period of time, and you're not that old.
No, I give them back after they're not puppies anymore. That's the only thing that I like.
He returns them
I
constantly.
return them. I keep receipts.
But he waits till he gets that bond. And once he gets that bond, that's when he returns the puppy.
That's right. Just like kittens. I only like kittens.
Only. Oh my goodness. Oh, that would be horrible. I'm sure there are people that are like that in real life, but we shan't give
I
them-
hope not.
Yeah, no, but there always is terrible people. Moving on.
Moving on.
No, I think there was a good point in with similar to watering with cannabis. Like, how do you manage all the different pot sizes and stuff, and like how often do you have to up pot certain things? Are there certain types that you just won't grow anymore because of this? They're too needy.
So for watering, I feel like the most like reliable way is just sticking your finger in the soil, and then yeah, you'll be able to tell if it's moist or not. And generally, for most of my tropical stuff, it might surprise you, but I like to let them dry out almost all the way, but then keep the humidity higher. So then they're still able to take in some water, like, you know, through their leaves and in the air. But, I mean, I do overwater still, don't get me wrong. But,
So do you have different like humidity environments for different plants?
yeah, like I'll make little terrariums just out of like plastic cups and stuff. But I've been thinking of maybe putting some in my grow tent just to have like a closed environment. But at the same time, like I keep 2 fans in there, so I don't know if that would actually help at all. But yeah, I like to keep most of mine in just normal humidity, which a lot of people on Instagram use like those IKEA cabinets, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, like my anthurium, it hates open air, but then somehow I'm able to just
Keep
grow
it
them in
going.
open air." So I really feel like having more is just a way to, you know, keep constant humidity, because then there's always going to be water evaporating.
Yeah, it's
That's a good point.
yeah, it's like when you get too much mass in your tent and the humidity just starts spiking like crazy.
Yeah.
So
Like
awesome.
right when the lights go out.
Yeah. Shoom. What were you saying, Howling?
Oh, no, so you mentioned that like maybe some of them you would like to move into a grow tent, and that's one of the things I was wondering is, like for us to take a cut of a cannabis plant, it usually has to come from like a trusted source. I'm not getting any diseases, and we still treat it with like white gloves because we're introducing something foreign into our environment. Is that like the same concern with houseplants? Do you quarantine them? Like if someone passes a plant down to you or a cut, do you quarantine them at all first? Okay, because me, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'll toss it into this tent with my cannabis plants because I got a light in there and I got humidity. But then I'm like, oh crap, what am I putting in there? Like, what's it gonna do? What pests or diseases is it bringing? So, do you do the same thing with like houseplants? Do you quarantine them at all?
Definitely on like a lesser scale. Like I'm not using gloves or like sterilizing much. I definitely should sterilize, you know, scissors and stuff more, but like I was saying earlier, I like to use this stuff called Lost Coast Plant Therapy. Not sponsored by them or anything, but that's just what I've been using for like maybe 3 years now, and I'm still on the same bottle. And I just use it on everything because it's just something that I don't, worry about, like smoking. I don't worry about my cats because a lot of the pesticides, like, those worry me around my pets. That's what I'm worried about more than them,
Of course.
consuming the plant itself. It's like, oh, what insecticides on there? And that's actually what I got in trouble for on Instagram when people were saying, like, oh my gosh, you shouldn't be feeding a spider plant to your cat because, like, you don't know what pesticides were on them. But I had that plant for like a year, so I don't know how long pesticides would like stay on the surface or anything, but
I wouldn't worry about it. I'd be more worried about all the other stuff in the water and all the microplastics. If you want to be that big of a dick to someone else, you could, like, come on, man. Who's going to reach out and yell at someone else because their cat's eating something?
Dude, it's the cat mobs. They're like a real thing.
Well,
you don't want to make people mad with cats. I don't know. They're like their own breed. They'll come after. They'll find where you live.
they will. I mean, I had blocked this girl, and she went on her boyfriend's account to message me after, and she replied to my story where I was like, wow, I'm really like shooken up about this because somebody had commented, "You're fucking sick," and I was like, "Oh my god!" And he said I
over a
deserve to have
cat?
her taken away. So this
Yeah,
girl was
dude.
like, "I'm glad you feel bad." I'm like, Jesus Christ!
What?
Like,
Wait I'm sorry. I love all animals, and I'm probably one of the biggest hippies there is.
right?
But holy shit, over an animal?
Yeah.
Dude, we all know
People,
cats are the number one on the internet. No one can argue that. You
Wow.
you get the mob. You get the mob after you.
I hate
Man.
to start a mob, but I, for one, know Merch hates cats. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not a huge fan of cats personally, but I don't hate them anyway. But dude, who messages strangers over that? Like, who has the free time?
that's what I was saying. Like, you have that much time to go on a whole separate account and stalk my stories. Like, what?
Well,
She might be in the cat police, though.
that's true.
The cat FBI, the CIA.
Yeah, she's deep undercover.
I thought it was lizard people. Are they at war with the cat people?
That's the reptilians, yeah.
What matters, the only thing that matters is where the amphibians fit in this.
Ah, yes, the frogs.
Was it Carol Baskin? It was Carol Baskin, wasn't it?
I don't get that.
Oh, jeez. Oh,
wait, really?
Carol
No.
fucking Baskin.
What?
Oh,
No. What is it?
Did you not watch Tiger King?
I did not. I don't watch very much television, dude, or
Oh,
shows.
man.
I have all of the things because Megan has them, so I know I pay for them all. I just never watch it.
Oh,
Never
man,
watched it either,
fucking
Rev.
Tiger King was
Thank you,
all the
Merch.
rage.
I have something in common with a man who lives in isolation on an island. Yay! No, that's awesome. No, I saw that you were looking for new shows, but we'll get into that later. We have an awesome guest. Johnny, do you want to give her the cannabis treatment? She doesn't get away without answering those questions.
Yeah, so what made you want to get into growing cannabis? What's your relationship with it? When did you get started growing? When did you start partaking?
So I didn't start smoking until after high school. But pretty much right away, like, I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I needed to, like, I don't know, just reach more of a baseline, if that makes sense.
Yeah, to get to function.
And, like, obviously at first, it was a lot. My first time I smoked, I actually had an edible. And I had the whole thing, so that really was an experience for me. But, so yeah, I started growing about 2 years ago now. I have been seeing this guy who grew some too, so he was kind of like teaching me the basics. And then I made bubble hash, like, before I even started growing, and I was like, whoa, this is sick. Like, I really want to do this.
That's a hell of a way to get into growing.
Yeah.
Fucking making bubble hash. Like, this ought to be fun.
Yeah. So yeah, that was really cool, and I liked the whole process, so I was like, why not grow? But before that, I was kind of worried, like, how are my parents gonna react? Because like my dad comes by my place a lot. But he was kind of a hippie when he was younger. But he doesn't smoke anymore. But he was super, super supportive about it, and that kind of surprised me. Like, that was really what held me back from starting and like growing myself for a while. Was like, I don't want like my neighbors, my parents, like anybody to judge me or like, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that's a hang up for a lot of people.
mhm.
I totally see that being an issue, especially if you don't know how your family would react.
Right. I just I don't talk to my mom about it. Like, she knows about it, but, and she'll make the offhanded comment once in a while. But, see, I feel people like that could benefit from weed the most, the ones who are like the most closed off about it.
Oh,
But,
absolutely.
100%.
alas.
As long as
100%.
I think as long as they were to try it, and as you said, get to like a good baseline, or normalize things, right? Like it's such a
Mhm.
good medicine for a variety of reasons. If they
Yeah.
were to just try it, and like I think our buddy Alabrije says that even if you're using it recreationally, you're still getting a medicinal benefit from it, right?
Mhm.
So even if you
Hmm.
don't think you are, you still are getting a medicinal benefit, which is a great way to look at it. It just
Right.
you have to just break the stigma and try it. And luckily, it's getting more and more destigmatized.
Mhm.
It's a whole different world than when I was in high school. And I mean, Johnny was before the wheel, so it was way different back then.
Jesus Christ. I'm not that old.
No, but it's a go-to joke at this point. So
Yeah. I remember when they chiseled that thing around. It was beautiful.
it was a moment, yeah.
I mean,
No, but
nowadays,
I mean I feel the same thing. Like uh with it just being legalized here, it's a stigma. But I've taken a different approach instead of like trying to hide it or being like a considerate of how other people feel. It's like fuck that. They should be considerate of how the fuck I feel. Like you've been
Mhm.
chastising this shit your entire life. Like no man, I want to bring this to a different fucking light. Like show that you can be fucking successful and partake in cannabis,
Mhm.
whether it be medicinally or recreational. Like I try just like I don't hide it around my kids. I don't fucking like I I mention it to everybody that it's a part of my life. Like I don't like even my grandmother. Like
Mhm.
I debated on talking to my grandparents about it, and it was like nah, that's like I have to do it, man, because it's a part of me. And with it being legal, I'm not doing anything wrong or hurting anybody. And it has changed who I was. Like when I gave up alcohol and
Mhm.
started partaking in cannabis, I feel like a better person. And I wanted other people to see that, hey man, it's here. Like it's
Yeah,
available. We don't have to fucking hide from this thing like the government's been making us for years.
Mhm.
exactly. You've been lied to just like everybody else had. It's not your fault, but it turns out it's just a plant, like everybody's been saying.
Mhm.
Yep.
we were
But
right all along, man. We
yeah,
knew it.
yeah, you just once you try it and you realize, holy shit, I've been lied to. I think the reason why so many people call it a gateway drug isn't because it's a gateway drug to try other experiences. Is because when you try it, you go, holy shit, I've been lied to. What else did they
Mhm.
lie to me about? And then ultimately, there are some other drugs that turns out they weren't lying. You shouldn't do them, and it will eventually ruin your life. But it's hard, when you demonize as something as stupid as a plant, it's hard to take you serious, and it's more detrimental in the long run for
Mhm.
society.
Right.
And I
Like,
think
harm
that's
reduction should be like
oh yeah,
something we should focus on, because it's like people aren't going to just be not addicted to something that's addictive
it's
overnight. And
exactly.
they're not going to do it by force. People need to do it when they're ready to make the change.
Oh yeah. And there are those assholes like me who will not do something just because I've been told to do it. So
Mhm.
you can
Same.
there's a population like us out there. So you just what you have to do is be reasonable, and that just won't ever happen as a society because for some reason we let the idiots talk the most.
Mhm.
That's facts.
And that's why I have a podcast. No, I'm just kidding.
I was just gonna say, is that why you asked me to have a podcast?
Yes, it's because I believe my idiot opinion should be no. It's because I wanted to meet cool people like Moonstone. So where did we leave off with the cannabis question, Johnny?
I don't know.
I'm
Yeah.
lost.
Okay, so we went over her introduction and when she so what you were making bubble hash and then you
Yes.
started. What was your first grow like?
So I got a really late start. I got it in like maybe the end of July, so like right before it started flowering. My first one was Afghani hash plant. That one was super nice. That one, I remember it did get like a decent amount of bud rot, but I didn't really know what the fuck I was doing at that point. I was just happy to have like more than a few nugs.
Yeah.
And then my other friend had given me a Tropicana cookies plant, and that like became one of my favorites. And that one was when I was like, oh my gosh, like I need to get a tent and I'm bringing this inside. Like, I don't care. I'm not just gonna do this in the summer. Because I mean, yeah, my goal with it is to have enough that I can smoke and not have to buy weed, but I still haven't gotten there yet in 2 years.
I think that's a good goal.
Yeah.
I think
it's what most people want, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think often with that goal, it's at least the problem I find is no matter how much I have, I just seem to keep upping how many times I'll be like, yeah, I think a 6 joint's acceptable today. Like, dude, in 2 months, you're going to be very mad at yourself.
Yeah, and like the blunts, they add up.
Yeah, and then you don't realize and you just look and went, yep, did it to myself again.
I throw away a lot of green weed too. Like I'll take a puff and then I'll just get rid of the rest of the bowl. I don't smoke it all anymore.
The absolute worst is I'll be doing something or like even doing a podcast and because I vape most of my weed and I'll put it in the chamber and I'll go to set it up and I'll forget I do, so I dump it out and like I'll just at the end of the night have a pile and I'm like, God damn it.
My brother is the type that he makes every little bit of weed he gets last, and so there's nothing wasted. And when he comes over and he's watching what I'm doing and like some is getting onto the tray or I might drop a little bit or something, I'm like, yeah, whatever. And he's ready to lick the floor. And it's just like, oh, stop. I will give you some. Yeah. You do not have to do that. Yes, like, calm down. Like if I'm smoking a bowl, I'm a sipper. I like to keep on relighting it and I'll keep coming back to it. And at some point, there might be still some smokable cannabis in there, but it's so charred, like I'm not going to do it. So I dump it out and he'll just be sitting there staring at me like, what the fuck are you doing? And it's like, I have more. I didn't have to go spend the ridiculous extortion price that they charge here. I grow it here. I can do this. I can actually enjoy what I'm smoking and not hate myself for a little bit.
Yeah,
I think the first puff tastes the best too.
Yes,
like,
yeah.
you know,
it's always like this. You know, the first joint's always the best.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's always slightly downhill from there, but enjoyable. I'll never complain, but yeah, it is always funny. I'm the same way. And then you'll get to that point where you start like having to cut back and you're like, man, if I want to make till that next harvest, you're just like, I wish I could have remembered this 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
I'm riding that train right now. I've got like a jar maybe left of Tangy and these banana milks are lasting longer than I was anticipating. I'm like, shit, dude. I'm looking at an ashtray full of half-smoked joints like, oh, fuck, this is going to be a long month.
You scraping the resin yet?
Oh, fuck, no, I'm not that. I'll go smoke some Headstrong, but...
Oh, that stuff. I always have my, like, backup medicines of, like, the stuff that puts me to sleep or the stuff that I can't use in normal day life. And so I always know it's sad when I'm getting down to that. That's, like, at this point, it's like 9 months old. And I'm just like,
yeah,
smoke this joint and then fall asleep.
But it never stops you.
Of course not, because I'm a fiend. I'm a fiend for my medicine because I'm normal when I use it. I'm fucking weird without it, even weirder than I am now. And that's saying a lot. But more on to your growing. What's your grow style, and what kind of effects do you grow for, and what kind of train do you ride? Are you all aboard the narrow leaf or the broadleaf? My buddy Howling is on.
I would say probably more wide leaf. But I did have one really cool looking narrow leaf. It was just some sort of mystery bag seed. But that one was so pretty, and I've never seen leaves that narrow before. But I feel like most of mine, I generally go for wide leaf. And also for me, a big factor. I know it's probably shallow, but I love me some purple bud. So that's something I'll go for. Um, and then I guess like I've never been like sativa versus indica. I'm like I would rather smoke a nice flavor because I feel like the effects of it kind of depend on the day for me versus the strain, if that makes sense.
That absolutely makes sense.
Mm.
Because I can have, I think it just depends on the strain, the mood, and the situation of the day. It matters way
Mm.
more than if it's broad or narrow leaf. Like I was saying earlier,
Wait,
what?
you just said the strain. The strain would be whether it was narrow
Right.
leaf or
Okay.
broadleaf. You can't be both. You can't say dependent on the strain, but also not dependent on the strain.
All right.
That's
Maybe
right.
it's a hybrid though.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if never mind, I'm not going to get into the semantics. It's terribly boring.
But it
But
really is
but
about,
I understand what you're
yeah.
saying. There's this the setting and time and all of that stuff is how sometimes I disagree because I will take a nap at a hat's drop. So if I get something that's like at all couch lock, I will be asleep in minutes.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
It is a
I wish I
terrible
was that
curse.
way.
No, and I see in my normal life, right? Like my mind shuts off. I can go to bed fairly easy and stuff, but the second I'm awake, I'm awake.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yeah.
I need the medicine to get through the day to keep that going so I don't burn myself out.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Johnny needs it because otherwise he gets too easily distracted.
Huh? What?
But yeah, so what's your grow style then? Do you use synthetic, organic, or you mix them or
So I think the past 6 months or so, I've been doing organic. I think where am I blanking on the name right now? Oh, it's hydroponic research, and
okay.
it's they're powders, and I guess it was formulated like specifically for LEDs. I don't know if like any other brands do that or if that's just like marketing. But
Yeah.
one of my friends had told me it was really good, and it was like about half the price of advanced nutrients, which is what I was using before. Um, and yeah, I wasn't super impressed by them. But I always love like trying new stuff. Like I went to the grocery store this week, and like I love trying more like supplements and like plant vitamins, different like microbes and stuff. I just want to like give them, the best chance possible, and just kind of I feel like I feed my plants so much better than I feed myself.
Oh yeah, I think we can all agree there. I definitely put more thought into whether if there's GMOs or anything like
Mm-hmm.
that into what I feed my plants, and then I'm just like, yeah, sure, I'll eat this 6-year-old week or 6-week old burrito. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, exactly. But I've really been loving these newts. Like, not sponsored or anything, but I've had like I'd say probably 2 dozen orchids now, and I started giving one of them upstairs these newts, and it started blooming for me.
Wow.
And yeah, so I was super impressed by that because all my other ones, I've had them for like years and they haven't rebloomed yet. And then I immediately start giving this one just like what's left over in my can, and we got flowers.
That's
Aren't
awesome.
orchids like super tricky?
See, people say that, but I personally don't think they are. You just need to get them in a different mix than what they're sold in. And that goes for literally like every plant out there. Like if you buy a plant from Home Depot and Lowe's, you need to change the soil. Like it's pretty much just like they set you up for failure because it's just pure peat moss. Like it gets so compacted and no plants like want that much moisture in their roots.
That's hilarious that they do that.
Yeah, I mean, literally all the big box stores are just notorious for having like the worst looking plants possible.
They
I
want you to
mean,
come back and buy another one.
well, I found out they have like a free return policy. So you could technically like if your plant dies, you can literally bring it back and get your money back.
Oh, you could do the old 1-2 swap. You know, when your plant dies, you go buy another one and then bring the dead one in the next day. You'll be golden.
And this is how Merch has his perpetual grow.
Perpetual Home Depot grow.
Now, so actually, that's it's interesting because you do sell your own cuts of plants, don't you?
Yeah.
Now, so I have never bought clones or anything of a plant. Is there some things you have to do to like vet someone selling cuts of plants? Like for us, we look for reputable breeders and people that are trustworthy. Like, what do you do for houseplants? Is it the same thing? Is it kind of word of mouth of like, hey, this is a good person that cuts really interesting plants that are selling that are reputable? Because like for me, like shipping a live thing in a box somewhere across the country just seems not sketchy, but a lot of variables, a lot of things that could go wrong with that.
It does seem
Yeah.
it seems like an awesome and also scary thing to do.
Yeah, especially in the winter. Like I was really nervous before I got started, but I mean, I've bought so many plants online that I wasn't worried about shipping them myself. Um, but I guess the things to look for, like I buy most of mine off Etsy because I mean, you can see like how many sales the person's gotten, like you can see all their reviews and stuff. Whereas I feel like other sites um you don't see reviews and like I'm kind of being a hypocrite right now because my site's like that, but yeah, I feel like word of mouth too. Like I've bought some off Instagram just because like my friends are like, ooh, look at this one I got. But yeah, I mean most of my sales have come off Instagram, which has been crazy. um But I guess the other thing to look for is a lot of the scammers are like overseas, and I'm not saying that to like generalize, but a lot of them like Sri Lanka on Etsy is like notorious for selling fake Monstera elbow seeds and like fake variegated plants like that just never arrive.
Wow.
Yeah, but I mean places like Thailand, Ecuador, Indonesia, they're on top of it. Like I've gotten plants from Ecuador before and they're beautiful. So I'm not trying to say like all like international sellers are sketchy, but they're definitely stuff to watch out for.
I could imagine.
And so these are live plants that you're ordering from across the world?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was nerve-wracking the first time, and like I'll only do it certain times a year living in Maine. But recently, like last month, I went to the New Hampshire Orchid Show, and they had this company from Ecuador. It's called Ecuagenera, and they're like one of the biggest like international sellers. So that was cool to not have to ship those in myself.
So are there?
That's freaking rad.
So are there better? Like, so you would like? I mean, ideally, a person would have them delivered during some more moderate months, like spring or fall. Because, like, I'm just hypothetically, if someone came across one of those double window monsteras, they probably don't want it shipped to their house when it is, let's say, March in Chicago.
Well, here's the thing. So, they make these heat packs, and they're mostly for like shipping like small animals or fish or something, but they work pretty well for keeping the temperature in the box between, I think, like 10 and 20 degrees, I read, higher than the air around it. So, I mean, I live in Maine, so I'm pretty much like as cold as you can get with shipping them, and I've been shipping like in January and stuff. So, like, the one thing I will say is I do have to check the weather super carefully, and like, if it was a week where it's 20, I might have to like message the person and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna hold on to this for another week."
Oh, that's really cool. So you check that out before.
Yeah.
I like how you just casually drop that, and I'm
Yeah.
sure that's super important in the industry because I can only imagine. And if you don't want to talk about it, that's cool. But I can imagine that that community is pretty small. So if there's any kind of deception, it spreads pretty quickly.
Yeah, there actually was like this drama last summer where this one girl was like pretty much just selling cuttings that were destined to fail. You know, they were tiny. I'm talking not even a half a centimeter long. And I had gotten some from her, and like that was my bad. I should have read all the reviews, but she actually had her shop shut down because so many people like got scammed by her. But I mean, other than that, I haven't really, heard of drama in the community, but you'd kind of be surprised because, like, people suck no matter, like,
Oh yeah,
what they're into.
every
Yeah.
hobby has terrible people. I just know that there's the San Diego botanical gardens. I know
Ooh, yes.
somebody broke in and took a bunch of cuttings off of like
Mm-hmm.
super rare plants and stuff. So
Yeah, the Spiritus Sancti, which is literally the most expensive plant in the world. Like, at that time, it was going for over 10,000 for like a medium-sized plant,
that's crazy.
And I've seen other like small nurseries too. They're variegated monsteras. They'll get stolen, and people just have no shame in it.
Yeah, that's pretty sad.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if you got caught and you had to do jail time for stealing plants? Like, what are you in
Well, that
for?
would be like a big
Stole
charge
a
too if
plant.
it's worth
Yeah.
that much.
Well, I know that. Yeah, that kind of stuff. That's felony theft.
That's crazy. That's a subculture of like thieves. It's like Ocean. What are we at? Ocean 31, where they're stealing plants.
We've run out of writers. Somebody.
Yeah, they're totally spent. They're down to the plants.
That's funny. So, is there a dream plant that you're chasing?
Oh God, yeah, so many. Off the top of my head, there's one called Anthurium Delta Force.
Delta Force?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And it's really hard to describe, but it's it's just a really unique shape. I can't even describe it.
That's awesome. Are they like super rare?
Yeah, and that one, it seems like a lot of people want it recently. That one's a hybrid of two, like, more popular anthuriums, but I guess it's only, like, a certain cultivar that gets the shape, if that
Okay.
makes sense.
Yeah.
So, like, a bunch of people will be making the hybrids, but they're not a Delta Force.
Delta Force.
Is Steven Seagal, was he had anything to do with that plant? I just picture him on the cover of something holding the plant. You know what I mean? I can see it. I can see it now.
There's some crazy names out there.
I can imagine. I mean, there is in every space, it seems, right? Like even in cannabis. That's really awesome. So how long have you had your shop open?
That's actually been pretty recent. I think around August last year is when I opened it, but like pretty much the whole like beginning of the year too, I was working on it, and like I had to get a bank loan and all that.
That's awesome.
So it was like a lot of work setting up my website and everything, but I didn't expect it to like actually work out, Like I didn't think I'd get my first sale right away, and like feels cool.
Of course, you deserve it. You're super friendly,
Thank
and
you.
you have awesome pictures of plants and dogs. I mean, how that isn't a recipe for success, I'll never know.
That's
But
super exciting.
I know I was gonna say that's super exciting. How do you have a vision? I don't want to like put you on the spot, but is there anything that you kind of want to grow for, or are you just going by what the universe is throwing at you?
Um, well, I mean, a big part of like why I wanted to like start selling plants is because I just like want to work for myself.
Absolutely.
Um, so I don't know if I would want it to like be a physical store. Um, I don't know. I'm just like a homebody, and I like selling online.
I can't,
Um,
I can't imagine we'll see a resurgence in brick and mortar stores.
true.
Especially there's a couple stores in my area that are like plant stores, and the amount of money they charge for the plants to just justify paying rent, I can only imagine, is astronomical. But it'll be like a silly little like snake plant or something, and they'll be like, that'll be $85. You're
Mm-hmm.
like, what the? And he's like, man, have you seen what they charge for rent here?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
It's
I didn't open a
bad
plant
too.
store.
Yeah, people like I've seen people on Instagram get into debt. Like they'll take out credit cards just over these
Oh,
plants just to try to like keep up with people. And it's like, geez, like,
there, I could see that definitely, like fear of missing out, like almost
mm,
with seed buying, it's kind of the same thing.
mm. Yeah, I
Yeah,
bet.
that's a thing.
Yeah, that's totally something that could like spiral out of control. I could imagine.
Ooh, I have a question for you guys. Who are your favorite seed breeders?
My favorite, I don't know if I have a favorite,
Okay.
but I will say for grandiose and sickening reasons, it's J Merch.
Oh
No,
my
I'm just kidding.
gosh! Whoa.
No, I'm growing some of this right now, but no, I really, really, really love growing Daz's stuff. Everything that Daz from Night Owl Seeds,
Mm,
everything I grow from his is just amazing. Um, Also, you can't go wrong with meth.
mm.
I've had my last Marley's Grin went forever, and it looks like my mango is going to do the same, which is both a blessing and a curse. Um, but I can't ever complain. And then of course, Alabrije, his stuff is always fun. That last tangy was something special, and this juicy I'm doing is great. And then um, I know I've smoked some of the big green guy stuff, and that stuff's phenomenal. So those are
Oh,
the ones that I can personally like like attest to in the last year or so. Um, so those are all good selections. What about you, Merch?
I was gonna say Night Owl.
Yeah.
I think Night Owl is my favorite. Um, Mephisto, of course. It's the same lineup as you, really, but I definitely think Night Owl takes the cake.
Yeah. Yeah, Night Owl is something special. Everything that I've absolutely everything that he's involved in that I've tried is amazing.
cool. I gotta try this.
What
I
about you,
haven't had
Howling?
Mephisto either.
You haven't tried Mephisto or Night Owl?
Nah.
We'll change that. We'll talk after this. Oh, don't worry about that. Um I'm waiting for Howling awkwardly to answer the question.
I'm trying to think if I've grown. So I guess I don't know if I've. There's only been one breeder I've grown more than twice, and that's Jinx Proof. And so I grew his Sugar Bowl, and now I'm growing two strains right now. And
And they're beautiful.
they are I do enjoy them. I will take compliments about them. I don't usually take compliments, but you can give me about those plants. Um, and so I'm still trying to get my feet. I've only been growing a year, so and I've been through. I mean, I'm growing Mephisto right now. I attempted a Night Owl strain, and that went horribly. But that was purely, I think, me trying to learn how to grow autos. Um, oh,
Mm.
I take that back. You know what? This Mango Smile is my second Mephisto. I did do their Skywalker, which was amazing. I love it. Um, but so I really try to just I think my thing now is I've been through a few different breeders and I'm trying to just stick to the people, not the seeds that they're producing. And so like our buddy Alabrije, like I really dig what he is doing and what he's trying to cultivate. Jinx Proof is another one for photo periods where I have a son that's autistic. He has a son that's autistic, and a lot of his proceeds go towards charities related to it. So I'm backing the breeder. I'm kind of like trying to support their passions and what their families and what they're trying to do, because by extension it influences me, and that's really what I'm trying to get behind. And so it's more about finding the breeder that that resonates with me, and then I'll find a strain that they're producing, and that's what I'll grow. So I think definitely I'll keep on with Jinx Proof, and definitely Elabrije. But I have others that I'm exploring that we'll see what they do. But I think that's probably Elabrije and Jinx Proof are the ones that'll dominate my tents for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, and it helps that Elabrije is a great guy. Emily will have to get you some of his stuff too, but he donates, like, I forget the percentage, but he donates from every pack he buys to a charity called Save the Perros, where he goes down to Mexico and he feeds street dogs.
Oh my gosh! Oh. I don't know if you guys just heard that, right?
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
Hey. Okay, sorry about that.
Oh, no worries.
Little cat fight.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I think I just followed him because of you guys.
Oh, he's a super cool guy. And then we'll have to send you. What have you been growing? I imagine you grow mostly. You've been growing outdoors, so mostly photos, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then did you continue on with only photos indoors?
I had a freebie auto that I ran a couple months ago, but other than that, it's been all photos. But I think I was telling you, I want to kind of switch it up a little and get a few autos going inside, like for kind of the in-between period, because I'm just so bad at like timing it. Like I'll have so much time in between my harvests.
Oh yeah, it can be hard. We'll have to hook you up.
And it's difficult in Maine too. Like I can attest for that. Our season's really short.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's hard to time it.
What is it, like 2 months?
2 months.
2 months.
No, it is.
It goes frozen. You see the sun, frozen.
Yeah.
The last frost down here is usually June 1st, but we've had snow in the first week of June. And then by like September, the rains set in. And so it's really not a lot of time. So autos are good for outside, but the photos, I've never had very good luck.
Really?
Yeah, I've had bad luck. I'm on the coast though, so like we get a lot of humidity.
Layer. Yeah, the marine layer.
I'm on the coast too. I don't know. I had a really good run last year. I was surprised at how little bud rot there was. I was really worried at the end, but I just kept like pushing. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it maybe today. But then I would be like, okay, but there's clearly a difference from yesterday, so I'm gonna go one more day.
As it was, yeah.
Kept
Last
doing
year
that
was
for
a
like
good
2
season.
weeks. Yeah, it was.
Sure look good on the videos. It's about all I can say. I've never been to Maine. I hear it's beautiful. I see it's beautiful through Merch's videos.
You should come. It's fun if you like outdoors and hiking and
I very much
being
do.
in the woods. And if you love mosquitoes, you're gonna love it out here.
That's not necessarily the best. But no, I'm planning a trip over to the East Coast. I got to see all of you guys, and obviously not Howling. I have no desire to see him. No, just kidding. But also Strong Island has been sending me videos of the lake that he lives in, like lives by, not in. He's not a fish. He is a human being. He's just like teasing me throughout the day. I'll be walking my dog in suburbia, and it'll be like, oh, this lake is literally at the end of my block. It's like, you know what? Cool, man. Anyhow, so Johnny, do you have any of breeders that you would recommend to our friend Emily?
Not offhand. I'm sure you guys went over them all, right?
Yeah.
Have you
Um,
guys grown any soulfire?
yeah, our buddy Mac just got a code for Soulfire, I think.
Oh, nice.
I'll have him send it to you.
Cool.
But he's grown a lot of it. He really likes it. He keeps winning contests over there. Didn't you win something, Howling?
Oh,
No, someone won something
Nope,
over
not
there.
me.
dang.
Can't remember who. Sorry, my apologies. But yeah, a bunch of our friends are cleaning them out, so they're the people to talk to there if you're interested.
Yeah, I love soulfire.
Oh hell yeah, Max, your guy then.
Nice.
I gotta try those out sometime, man. I've never tried them.
Neither have I. Neither have I.
You definitely should. They have they do a lot of black banana strains, and that's become one of my favorites. This summer outside I grew a couple biddies plants, and that one's their Bahama Mama line is dope.
I've heard. Yeah, I think that's what was Mac was talking. I think I tried his pucker up. He's going to be screaming at me if I'm wrong, but it was very good.
Nice. Yeah, I want to try like everything. You're so good.
I can't blame you.
That's a dangerous
That's really
slope because I got on my journey with Jinx Proof, and now I have I might only be missing a few of his strains now, and I have like no ability to ever grow these in my life.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It was like I got my entry drug. There was a couple that I really liked, and now I have a whole fridge full of seeds, and it's like shit.
That's why you got to do what merch does that way, man. Start giving them away.
You get karma points for it.
Yes, you do.
I've been saving them up.
He needs them.
Yeah.
he's morally bankrupt is the joke, guys.
That's the only reason why I do it.
He left his morals at sea.
Yeah. This when he joins us on these podcasts, these are actually considered community service for him. So he's
let's go help those handicapped kids who talk about weed growing.
Yeah. Those idiots.
It's court mandated. Sorry, guys.
It's all good. I appreciate it. Terms of probation are understandable.
I gotta get my hours in.
Exactly. You didn't take that island over peacefully.
No. I conquered this thing.
Yeah, exactly. Finders keepers. The old English strategy. Yeah. So when you get your orders in, what's like the first thing that you have to do? Do you have to like isolate for a certain amount of time, or how do you go through the process? Because I know that Howling is already in the chat saying oh, never mind. This is timely. He just placed his order. So
hopefully you use the code.
I don't like quarantine them, but I wash them down.
Okay.
And wipe them. This is a little tip. If you use just like old socks, those work really well for dusting off leaves.
There you go.
Instead of like paper towels.
Did you say old socks?
Yeah, I'd make a joke, but present company does not allow me. But I was gonna say Howling has a ton of those.
Yeah, just make sure they're clean.
They have to be soft.
Exactly. So you wash them down and get them all right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What are your tips for caring for it when they receive it?
So I would say don't give them like 100% light for the first couple of days, because they might, this is more for in the summer, but there's a chance they could get some burns on the leaves just because they were in the dark box for up to a week. Usually not a week, but sometimes it's a week. And they're a lot more resilient than you'd think. At first, when I was like sending them out, I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm so nervous. And I was sending them to like people I already knew, so they would send me pictures. So I'd be like, okay, like this is how I'm gonna do it next time. Oh, and another thing about shipping plants that you might not expect. like toy stuffing, that's the best stuff to pack boxes with.
Toys. Oh, you mean like cotton stuffing, like stuffed animal stuffing?
Yeah.
So go to like a Build-A-Bear and rob it and just steal.
Just don't build it and get out of there.
Their life ain't worth the stuffing.
No, my dogs fucking shred that shit up all the time. I'll just
yeah.
pick it up and save it now, so they ship it with the dog drool and everything.
Yeah,
there you go.
So do you get that in bulk or something?
Yeah,
dog drool? Oh yeah, I got 2 labs.
Oh my God.
No, actually,
yeah, I got that in bulk too.
Yeah.
But no, you can get it at like Michael's or like any craft store for like, I think I got I don't even know how many pounds it is, but it's probably like 2 pillow size for like $6. So that
that's good.
About like 5 boxes.
That sounds like a likely story. I'm pretty sure you just beat up little kids and steal their bears.
How'd you know?
You sound like it.
Yeah, definitely. I've gotten that before.
That's the vibe I get from the 2 people I know from Maine. They're just violent criminals.
Guilty.
Not the most mellow people that I've ever met. Well, that's awesome. So did you get that, Howling? Don't ruin it.
I won't fuck it up.
Don't Johnny it.
But I mean, other than
I knew it was coming. I felt it in my soul.
I haven't said it in a long enough time.
But wait.
Sorry.
What?
No, I was like, sorry, we're doing a super cool in-joke. That's always great on a podcast.
Yeah, and you leave the people you're interviewing completely out of it?
Yeah.
That's the best.
I was like, sweet. No. So our buddy Johnny has notorious luck around plants. He will commit some of the strangest crimes against plant life. For instance, he just kills them a lot. I don't want to put him on blast. He does some things that you would have been like, you got high and shouldn't have done, dude. But so
I won't judge you.
No. There's no judgment. We love Johnny. He's an amazing grower. Just he shouldn't be around a plant with a shop vac.
Oh my God.
That's not a freaking lie. Anyhow.
You go right to the best one.
Well, the other ones aren't really your fault. I mean, they're learning experiences. I can't judge you.
But you made
the fucking shop vac.
1 minute the plant's there, the next minute
she got
you're
no
planting
hair.
A new one.
Yeah.
What were you trying to do?
Just clean.
Okay.
It's clean.
Clean the plant.
Clean the plant.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
He's okay. What bothers me is he is such a great grower and knows so much. And then he's like, I fucked it up. I'm going, oh my God, how? Shop vac. And I was like, how? What? Like my brain couldn't comprehend why there was even a shop vac in the grow room. But I mean, it makes sense when he explained it, but it was, I love you dearly, buddy.
Yeah.
Did it make that little sound when it sucked it up? You know,
yeah, it made that sound.
And then that was the moment that you knew that you fucked up.
And it was at that moment he knew.
I'm picturing myself because there's so many times I've done something dumb and I can just imagine myself in that moment going, God damn it.
No, because this was the second fucking mango smile I fucking planted.
Oh, sorry. But that was the origin of the Johnnying. So often when we don't want to fuck something up, we say we don't want to Johnny it. So I was implying howling. Don't fuck it up.
Now, I do have a question though. I mean, going back to Johnny here, do houseplants ever get powdery mildew?
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Like,
they sure do.
Yeah, way less than weed though.
But I saw that one of the sprays that you used, is it called Lost Coast spray?
Yeah.
It can help treat PM, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would say that's like not my go-to for PM. I feel
okay,
like
Johnny, don't use that.
A straight fungicide would be better for PM, but for like actual bugs, that's my go-to because it's like oil based. So I guess it drowns them, like they suffocate.
Damn right.
Yeah, that's what
Emily's metal. She prefers it to be slow and agonizing.
exactly.
Like,
Plants are metal.
yeah, she went, what's the worst death I could imagine? Drowning. All right, that's how I killed my pests from now on.
I'm gonna waterboard these aphids.
Waterboard these bastards. Yeah, I don't. When I got aphids on my garden, I just gave up. I
They're
was
the
like,
worst.
I was growing a lot of broccoli, and the around here brassicas, like unless they're in some shade and stuff like that, they don't do very well at all, obviously. But when they get attacked by aphids, I was just like, I'm not even planning on eating this. Like, it's a
Yeah.
done. But they're
They get all up in there, man.
yeah, they're everywhere. But when you are dealing with your houseplants and then you go garden your tents or something, do you do any precautions so that you're not just swapping back and forth, or do you trust yourself enough to know that everything's clean?
I definitely could be cleaner than I am. But also like I let my cats go in there during the day, so I'm like they're gonna get shit in there anyways.
Yeah, why fight it?
Yeah. And then like if they can't go in there, they get pissed at me. So it's one or the other, and I'd rather them be happy.
There you go.
But it's worked really well so far. Like I've only I've only had aphid outbreaks downstairs and my grow is upstairs. So there's at least some like separation.
That's good.
Yeah.
You have a similar setup, Johnny, too, where you don't you have them all in one room, all your plants, so there is no point in really going different between the same tents, like changing or anything.
Yeah, that's what makes it a pain in the ass when you have a problem. It's fucking you're fucked.
Yeah.
So,
You can just assume it's everywhere.
yeah, it's everywhere.
But if you're on top of it, I mean, it's all you have to be, I guess.
Right, and then you don't have to worry about it like spreading everywhere too.
Yeah, you just
Like
that's
it's already there.
that's a very good point. Well, Johnny, do you want to hit her with the questions?
Oh, you know I do. What was the first seed you ever planted, and why was it an apple seed?
Just because. But no, I think my first seed was I don't even know. Honestly, I don't do a lot of seeds besides cannabis.
There you go.
Everything
At
else
least it
is, like,
wasn't an apple seed.
Yeah, no, I haven't grown any apples. I'm sorry.
I can't.
They were a pretty tough tree to grow from seed.
Yeah, I would imagine. Like, take your whole life to get an apple.
And it's not even worth it.
Yeah, they're not true to seed, right?
No.
No.
Oh,
they're
yeah,
not.
that's right.
Oh, it would be devastating.
What's your favorite pie, and why is it apple?
Oh, it actually is.
What?
Yeah, for
Skull.
real.
Hot
I
or
love an
cold?
apple pie. Hot, but with ice cream.
They're a la mode.
A la mode.
Have
And
you
what's your
ever
favorite?
Time out. This is something I will never not ask. Have you ever tried it with cheddar cheese, or is Johnny fucking weird?
Oh,
Nah, he's just weird. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Thank you.
What was that like? Did you like it?
it's umami. It's umami.
Okay.
It's amazing. You
I'll
have to
take
try
your
it.
word
Just a
for it.
slice of cheddar cheese with your apple pie, and you like take a bite of the. It's a thing, man. I'm telling you, it's a thing. It's good.
All right. I'll take your word.
Exactly. I trust you.
What's your favorite fruit, and why is it not lime? I mean, apple.
My favorite fruit would probably be strawberry.
Ooh,
Oh, that might be the first.
might be the first
Oh,
strawberry.
really?
Do strawberries grow in Maine?
Yeah.
They're
yeah, man.
super small, though.
Uh,
At least mine are. I probably just suck at growing them.
So
Yeah,
Give
I've
them
never
some
had a
newts,
huge one
man.
either.
Give them some newts.
what were you saying there, Howling?
well, my problem with strawberries is I really love them, but I have absolutely no ability to pick out a good strawberry. It's like if it's red and not mushy, I see it as a good strawberry. But it is not, when it comes to taste, it is definitely not like that. Like with apples or pears, like there's no bruises. It's probably going to all taste the same. It's pretty consistent. Strawberries, I don't find that consistency, but when I do find the really good ones, I will eat like 5 pints of them.
Did he just overthink a strawberry?
Yes, he did.
No,
He's-
I feel that though. Like same with melons sometimes. Like when you get the hard piece of like cantaloupe.
That's the worst. That sucks. I feel like I lost whenever I invest all that time in a fruit and then you just get let down. You
And
know,
my son,
that's Merch's breaking point. I'm sorry. Everything
end.
that's it. It's mellow Merch. He's like, unripe fruit, you motherfucker.
It's because you got no one to blame but yourself. You could have waited, but you didn't, and it's like, oh.
I would just love to see some dramatic short film of all the life just like living, and Merch is all happy, smiling, and then he bites into a cantaloupe that's slightly unripe, and he just flips a table, and just that's it.
I lost it. That was the moment.
Damn you, cantaloupe!
No joke. My 4-year-old loves cantaloupe, and so usually it's pretty good. I can pick out an okay one every once in a while. Like you're saying, that you sometimes get like part of the rind, or it's harder than the rest, and it's. My 4-year-old he's eating this, and all of a sudden he stands up on the couch holding the one piece of cantaloupe, giving me this look like, "What the fuck, Dad?" And he just thought I offended him with what I tried to give him, and it was one of those pieces. It was just so funny.
Oh my god!
Oh, that is. I can see it. Remind me to never serve any of you people fruit. I think that's the safest way to get through this life.
Yeah, where's the bee?
Well, is there anything that you wanted to plug? Obviously, we'll link to your store so people can follow Howling's lead.
Oh. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I guess my store just you can either do moonstoneplants.com or I'm on Etsy. I would say Etsy's better if you're gonna buy like multiple things because it's free shipping on 35. So yeah. And then yeah, if you want to follow me on Insta, let's be friends. Just at Moonstone Plants.
It's a great follow. Just make sure that if her cat ever eats something, to spend about an hour and a half yelling at her.
Yeah, just bully me.
Just bully her. She's a super nice lady who loves plants. Why don't you just spend your day bullying her? Well, we appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. It was super cool. I've never been asked to be on a podcast before, so I was like, whoa.
Well, you're good people, and you're super cool. I said that so that's so wonderfully.
I can't wait to see you stumble through this sermon.
Dude, I really shouldn't have fucking smoked that second joint today. No, I actually have something somewhat prepared, man. We're doing the time shift, or it's spring forward, right? On Saturday or Sunday or whatever the day is.
Oh no.
Oh, I know, I'm the bearer of bad news. Don't blame Frog. It's not my fault. But in accordance with and it's in accordance with that terrible development that I've already ruined your Sunday with, which I guess if you're listening to this, it's already happened. Blame Johnny, not my fault. In this coming week, with all that bullshit that's happening on, why don't you just slow down a little bit, take 5-minute break, and just look at a tree or be around in nature. Don't hug a tree, that's fucking weird, but just look at nature. Calm down, slow down, and everything will get better. Don't be a dick, mind your own business, and go with Frog.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thank you.
And thanks for joining us, everybody. Thank
you again, Emily.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you, Merch. Thank you, Howling. You guys,
thank you for having me on again.
If you guys want to plug something, go listen to last week's episode. Follow Jay Merch on his YouTube and join Howling in our Discord. Thanks, guys. Thank you again, Emily.
Cool.
Peace.
Peace.
Bye.